Hello everyone, I welcome you all to the Infinity Vision platform. This session is all about giving you the insight of what physics JEE main paper is all about over the past 3 years. So in this physics analysis portion, I'll be discussing some of the key areas which is of greater importance as per JEE main preparation is concerned. And at the same time, I'll giving you the short tips as well as some of the key areas that you can neglect or that is of greater importance as per JEE main is concerned. Okay, our first analysis that we have done in physics analysis portion is the level of difficulty of your physics portion in comparison to mathematics as well as chemistry. So out of 5, if I'll say, so that means your physics portion is of moderate level. So it ranges from 2.5. If it ranges from 2.5 to 3, if your score is from 2.5 to 3, so that means your paper is moderate level. And if it is less than 2.5 out of 5, so it is of easier level. And if it is above 3, so that means the paper is difficult. So over the past 3 years, in each sessions, we have calculated the paper and we come to the conclusion that your physics portion is of moderate level. It ranges from 2.8, 2.9. Okay, it never goes till 3. And your chemistry portion is somewhat easier, so it ranges from 2.2, 2.3 out of 5. And your mathematics portion, it ranges from 2.9, 3.1. Okay, till 3.1. So that means it is of difficulty level is out of higher side as compared to physics and chemistry. So that means in totality your paper is of moderate level. Okay, and most of the questions are of moderate level. Okay, I mean as compared to the other subject, your paper is of moderate level in comparison to the chemistry as well as mathematics. So now the next things that we'll be discussing is the very much hot topic of your class 11th as well as class 12th portions. So as you can see, so these physical and the measurement portion is of very greater importance as per JEE main physics paper is concerned. So these are the hot topics as you can see. So I have taken the hot topics from kinematics, I have taken the hot topics from laws of motion and measurements. So in comparison to the other portions, your measurement and physical measurement portion is very much easier to score. Okay, and mind you, most of the questions in this out of these sections are coming from measurement portion only. And it is quite easier to score also. Your error, your dimension analysis portions, all these portions are quite easier to score as compared to the kinematics, as compared to the laws of motion, in which the level of difficulty is somewhat moderate level. Okay, and which topic is of difficulty higher side, whose difficulty level is of higher side? It's of non-uniform accelerated motions. Sometimes the questions may come of non-uniform accelerated motion that may require a higher understanding. So that means if you, especially if you have a moderate level of understanding and your preparation is of moderate level, you can neglect this portion apart from other sections. Okay, and in kinematics, most of the questions are of moderate level, and your laws of motion, most of the questions are of moderate level. Okay, so we'll be moving to the next topic of hot topics of your class 11th. As you can see, some of the questions also come from work energy, like work and collisions. Mind you, again, the collision portions consist of the question of higher orders. Okay, especially the collision part, which is there, the collision in 3 dimension, the collision in 2 dimension. Those are the portions which are of higher order, and the questions are of higher order. Okay, especially if you have a moderate level of understanding, so in order to score well, so you can neglect these portions. Okay, and rest in center, other portions consist of system of particles and rotations. Most of the questions comes from inertia, and in gravitation, the questions comes from gravitational potential energy as well as from satellite systems. Okay, satellite system, I have seen in most of the time the questions in gravitations comes from either satellite as well as either gravitational potential energy. So these are the portion of the, so these are the concept of the chapter that you must remember, because most of the 90% of the questions are coming from these hot topics only. Okay, you have to stick to these hot topics in order to score very well in your JEE Main examinations. Okay, now let us begin to, let us talk about mechanical properties of solid and fluid. Not much questions are coming from pressure. So that means you can neglect the fluid portion, because most of the questions are coming from mechanical properties of solid, and most of the questions from this section is coming from elasticity, stress strain curve. Some of the times stress strain curve also comes, but most of the time the question comes from elastic moduli. So this is the most important topics of your mechanical properties of solid that you must remember. Okay. The next hot topic that you must learn or you remember is the topics which is coming from heat and thermodynamics. In comparison to the other chapter, your thermodynamics portion is somewhat difficult, and especially the thermodynamic process which are coming, the questions which are coming from thermodynamic process, it is of higher order. Okay, and most of the questions which are coming from your thermodynamics, it is from heat engine, and apart from that, the kinetic theory of in kinetic theory, the ideal gas equations you must remember, because most of the questions are coming from that portion only. Okay, not much question is coming from calorimetry, and most of the questions which is from heat is coming from thermal expansion. So you must remember these are the topics in which you can easily go through and do the numerical which is belonging to these topics, and you can easily excel well. Okay, now talk about the waves and oscillations. In waves and oscillation, the very easier portion question are coming from Doppler shift. Means I'm talking about the sound chapter, so which is included in this portions. Okay, so the Doppler shift questions is very much easier, and it is numerical based questions. Means direct numerical based questions comes from Doppler shift questions. So you must remember this concept. Apart from this, the question also comes from simple harmonic motion. So most of the times the questions do comprises of simple harmonic motions. Means you have they will give you two waves equations, and after superimposing, what would be the new wave that you will be what will be the equation of new wave that will be formed, and what would be its amplitude. So the most of the questions which is coming from simple harmonic motion, and it is of the same order of interference of two waves. Okay, and the questions do come. So you must remember this concept, because the questions do come from these topics very, very frequently. Okay, now the next hot topic that you must remember of your class 12th, especially in electrostats, it is of electric field and electric flux, because in electric field and electric flux, very easier question comes, and you can easily score well on in these areas. Okay, the question do comes from electricity, like resistivity of various materials. So, and especially the color codings do come. Sometimes the color coding question do comes, and it is of very lower understanding. With some lower understanding also, you can easily score well in the examinations. So these are the easier portion in which you can easily focus and score well, because most of the questions are coming from these portion also, like electric flux and electric field. Okay, and they are quite easier to score. Okay, question 2 comes from Kirchhoff law, and it is of higher order. Especially, again, I'll be saying the same things. If you have a moderate level of preparation, so you can skip or this portion, and you can do rest other portions, because most of the moderate level questions are coming from current, electricity, electric, dielectric, and capacitance, and motion in magnetic field and magnetic field due to current, element, and Ampere circuit law. Okay, some of the easier portion which is coming from magnetism is torque and current loops. Okay, the questions is of easier level as compared to the other topics. So you must remember all these topics, because most of the questions will be coming from these topics only. around 90% or around 90% of the questions are coming from these topics. So you must remember these are the topics in which you can easily excel well, and which are difficult portion and which are easier portion to score. We'll be moving to the next chapter, which is electromagnetic inductions. Obviously, in Lenz's law, the question is of very much lower level, and the lower level questions come from power in the AC as well as transformer. Not most of the questions are coming from transformer, because only few questions are coming from transformer. So you can skip some of the other some of the portions of transformer, okay, and you can focus on other portions, because most of the questions are coming from Lenz's law, inductance, and LCR circuits. In AC, they are coming in LCR circuits, okay, and it is of moderate level. And in optics, question do come from electromagnetic inductions, and it is very much easier to score, mind you. And also, the ray optics portions is also of lower order as compared to the other wave optics portions, in which the question are coming from Young's double slit or single slit experiment, which is of higher order, or you can say of moderate order as compared to the other portion. So which area that you can pick where you can easily score? Okay, Lenz's law is one such topics, and power in the AC circuit and electromagnetic waves is one such topics, and as well as reflection part through the spherical mirror is one such topic where you can easily go through and score very well. Okay, so I hope your electromagnetic portion and optic portion is clear to you. So which portion you can focus on and which portion you can easily neglect. So we'll be moving to the next portion, which is of very most importance as per JEE Main preparation is concerned. It is modern physics. Okay, in modern physics, most of the questions which are coming from it is from photoelectric effects. It is coming from dual nature, like de Broglie wavelength. It is coming from hydrogen atom, Bohr model of atomic hydrogen atoms, line spectrum, radioactivity. It is coming from junction diode, because I have included semiconductor in this portion as well as communication in this portion only. Okay, so the most of the questions are coming from these topics, and few questions do comes from propagation of electromagnetic waves, and as well as modulation as well as AM modulations. Okay, in communication portions, your question that is of moderate level that comes in your examination, it comes from AM modulations. Okay, and the numerical portion do come in your examinations. Rest in other portions like photoelectric effect, the question would be of lower order, and line spectrum. You must remember this concept, your hydrogen atom, Bohr model of your hydrogen atoms, you must remember these concepts. Radioactivity is one such topic that you must remember, because questions are coming, the numerical portion are coming from radioactivity. Okay, then PN junction diode, question do comes in the numerical form from PN junction diode, as well as digital electronic circuits. If I'll talk about digital electronic circuits, the question are coming from transformers. Okay, propagation of electromagnetic waves, like antenna portions are one such topic in which the questions are coming, and it is of numerical type most of the time. So you must remember this concept in which you can easily excel well. Okay, now you must remember that the modern physics is one such portion in which you can easily excel well without putting much effort. So now let us begin with our next analysis of your paper, that is the topic-wide distribution of your JEE Main paper. So if I'll talk about the entire syllabus, your 12th portion comprises of 53%, and your 11th portion comprises of 47%. Okay, so that means in physics, 53% of your syllabus comes from 12th, and 47% of your syllabus comes from class 11th. Okay, now the next level of analysis is the difficulty level of your entire questions. So if I'll talk about the entire questions, out of all those entire questions, your moderate level questions are 61%, your difficult level questions are 11%, and your easy level questions are 28%. 12%. Obviously, we have set a benchmark in which the easier portion is a knowledge-based and factual and direct from NCERT-based questions. And moderate questions are application-based, which involved formula-based questions, and application-based questions, numerical-based questions. Okay, and the difficult questions like complex analytical-based questions, which are very few, means only 11% of the questions are difficult-based, or which is complex analytical-based. Okay, even if you can neglect the difficult portion, still you can easily have, you have the chance of scoring very well, because your moderate as well as easier section comprises of more than 90% of your entire syllabus. Okay, if you can easily focus on these two areas, you can easily score well in your examinations. Okay, so that means your moderate portions question is of greater importance, easier portion is of greater importance, and most of the questions of moderate and easier portions are coming from your NCERT as well as exemplar based questions. Okay, it is similar to those questions only, so you can easily focus on these two areas in order to score very well in your examination, in order to score, in order to easily do the numerical aspect. Okay, so we'll be moving to the next portion, which is of very much greater importance. That means which portion of your entire 11th as well as 12th sections is coming in your examination at what level. So that means at what percentage. As per 11th is concerned, out of the entire sections, as you can see, your measurement portion comprises of 8%. That means out of all those 11 syllabus, 8% of your questions which is coming from measurement sections. Okay, and 14% are coming from waves and oscillation, and 20% are coming from heat and thermodynamics, and 9% is coming from mechanical properties of solid and fluid. 8% of your questions are coming from gravitation, and your system of particle comprises of 15%, work energy 9, as well as laws of motion 7, and kinematics 10th. Okay, there is no one such benchmark that you can set in order to benchmark that you can set that these are the portions of your syllabus which is of greater importance, because as per 11th is concerned, your entire syllabus is very much important, because not the maximum portion that in a chunk which is coming is 20%, which is of heat and thermodynamics, and some of the questions from thermodynamics are tough, so you can easily focus on entire syllabus of your 11th sections, and you can neglect few portions that we have that I have already discussed in your 11th standard hot topics. Okay, so in order to excel very well in your 11th portion of your JEE Main physics, you must go through each portion of your entire syllabus as per JEE Main physics preparation is concerned. Okay, obviously you can easily score in measurement, so which comprises of 8%, and you can easily score in kinematics, and which is of 10%. Okay, like in kinematics, the questions do comes like accelerations, like a constant acceleration question do comes, but variable acceleration, variable accelerated motions questions are somewhat difficult. Okay, you can easily excel in laws of motion as well as work energy power, and so the questions which is coming from system of particles is of higher order. Okay, especially those portions in which the multiple bodies are there, and in which you have to find out the angular momentum. Okay, so those portions are somewhat difficult. Okay, gravitation portion is also somewhat easier to score, so you cannot neglect your measurement portion. You cannot neglect the portions like accelerations in kinematics. You cannot neglect the portions of inertia in your system of particles. You cannot neglect the portion like energy portion, potential energy portion in gravitations. Okay, so I hope this much portion of your 11th section is clear to you, because these are very important things that you must remember. Which portion of your 11th is of greater importance and which portion is of less importance. As you can see, heat and thermodynamics question is very much important, because it comprises of 20% of your entire syllabus of your 11th standard. Okay, if you, and most of the questions which is coming is of thermodynamic process in thermodynamics and heat. I have already discussed the thermal expansion, and in kinematics, in kinetic theory of the gases, your ideal equation questions do come in your examinations. And what about 11th portion? What about 12th portion now? So as you can see, out of the entire syllabus, your modern physics comprises of 30% of your entire syllabus of your 12th. Okay, so that means I have included communication as well as semiconductor portion in modern physics only. Okay, and it is somewhat very much easier to score as compared to the other topics of your class 12th is concerned. If you focus on your entire focus of, if you focus your entire brain on modern physics as well as on electrostat, it comprises of 30 plus 14, which is 44 portion, 44 percentage of your entire syllabus. So that means it is somewhat closer to 50% of the entire syllabus. And mind you, the questions which is coming from modern physics as well as electrostats are very easier to score. Okay, and what about current electricity? Only Kirchhoff law questions are somewhat tougher. Apart from that, the rest other portions is very much easier to score. So you can also focus on current electricity as well. Okay, and what about magnetism? In magnetism, 12% of the questions are coming from magnetism, and from AC, 10% of the questions are coming from electromagnetic induction in AC, and in optics, 21% of the entire syllabus comprises of optics. Especially if I talk about optics, your ray optic comprises of 10%, as well as wave optics comprises of 10% portion. Okay, it is, the questions are of half mark, means proportions. So that means if you'll focus your entire brain on modern physics and electrostats as well as on ray optics, you can cover easily the 60% of your entire syllabus of your class 12th. Okay, so you must remember which area you have to focus more and which area you have to focus less as compared to the other areas. Okay, so this is of greater importance to know that modern physics and electrostats are very much easier to score, and you can easily score very well if you focus on these portion of your entire 12th syllabus. Okay, so now we'll be moving to the conclusion part. So as of now, you know about which portion of your 11th and which portion of your 12th is of greater importance, and which portion of your, which topic is of greater importance, which topic you can easily neglect, which is of higher order. Okay, so that means our entire conclusion is that if you focus on NCERT and exemplar based questions very well, so that means most of your moderate level questions will be easily covered up. Okay, so our entire sessions, in these sessions, so you must remember that your NCERT and exemplar portion of your NCERT and exemplar questions are of moderate level, and if you focus on these areas, your your 60% of your syllabus which is of moderate level is you can easily cover. You can easily focus on the less effort, high scoring contents like your semiconductor, like communications, like nucleus chapter, like atom chapter in your modern physics. Okay, like your dual nature, like electromagnetic like your electromagnetic waves, which is there in your optics, like your measurement and error finding, which is there in your 11th standard. These are the less high scoring areas, less effort, high scoring areas that you must remember. The next comes is you can avoid the complex analytical based contents, which I have already discussed with you. And the last thing that you must remember is you stick to your class 11th as well as 12th hot topics that I have already covered. So because most of your 90% of the syllabus which has come over the past 3 years is from these hot topics only. Okay, I hope this session is of a greater importance to you as far as JEE Main is concerned.